Hello, everyone. This is Sharon Braswell, and my presentation is on Robert House's Path Goal Theory of Leadership. In 1971, Robert House introduced his version of the contingent theory of leadership known as Path Goal Theory. House's believed that leaders' behavior was contingent upon the satisfaction, motivation, and performance of their employees. He also believed that the goal of a leader was to help his followers with their personal goals as well as understanding the organizational goals. Um, he also believed that just because the individual's motivations and goals differed, that leaders must modify their approach to fit the situation. So it should be flexible and change upon the individual and the situation, which he would consider the environment. So, an effective leadership is the ability to identify behaviors or paths that will lead to desired rewards or goals for an employee or a group as a whole. House believed that a leader's behavior directly impacts their employees so that just like us and our students, we constantly need motivation, more so on some days than others. And the effort in our performance depends on how satisfied we are with the situation and our leadership. The goal of the leader is to help their employees. House believed that you should work on your employees' personal goals as well as the organizational goals and find some way to combine the two and mesh them so that everyone was happy and performance would be better. He also believed that a good leader would foresee obstacles that might get in the pathway of their employees and help remove them to create a sense of accomplishment. Effective leaders are constantly changing their style to be able to fit not only the situation at hand, but the people. Because, as we all know, even in the classrooms or as counselors, we're constantly having to adjust and modify or accommodate our students to their needs. Well, we as people in general are the same way, and we need support and we need guidance. I decided to incorporate this graphic because it explains it very well. Your subordinate characteristics are your employees' needs. The environments are pretty much the tasks that are at hand. And in the middle, you have your leadership styles. House had four main leadership styles: directive, supportive, participative, and achievement oriented. And they all needed different types of motivations, but everything, no matter what style you used as a leader, it was all for one common goal at the end, was that everyone was satisfied, it was accomplished, and roadblocks were removed. So, the leadership styles. I'm going to read this part because I thought it was very important. An effective leader knows that leadership styles should vary depending on the situation of the employee's needs, according to Vandergrilt and Matsitz, which was from House's theory. Leaders can positively inspire the performance, contentment, and motivation of their employees by clarifying the path on how the achievement performance goals bestowed rewards and achievement these goals, and removing obstacles that are stopping the employees from achieving these goals. So you can see this is kind of repetitive. There was different styles that he did, but it was all to provide a path to accomplish these goals and to satisfy everybody's needs. So good leaders always are showing guidance, helping solve problems, creating goals, motivating, communicating, helping with the plan, creating that vision, and giving direction. So within that, these are our 4 leadership styles. To start off with, our directive approach. It doesn't necessarily mean that your leader is bossy and demeaning, but they provide clear expectations and guidelines. Most of the time, they offer some type of reward, just like we do with our students. They also enforce disciplinary action if the directives are not followed through, and they're pretty strong and formal. The benefit of this type of leadership is when the task is really complex and multi steps and needs a lot of directive approach, and this is how we do it, and this is when we're going to do it, and so on and so forth. A lot of times, this is used when you have your new and inexperienced employees that need that very direct because they don't know and haven't experienced to know the direction to go in yet. Um, this type of style is also known as authoritarian or management directive. Again, it doesn't really mean that your boss is overbearing, but it just provides clear expectations. I don't want you to waver from this path. So then we have the supportive approach. Which we all love. Some people don't like it, but a leader is friendly, supportive. They build those necessary relationships with their employees so that they know them and know what their needs and their strengths and their weaknesses are. They treat them as equals, and they're concerned about their not only what they bring forth to the business or the school, but their personal needs, their well-being, how they're doing. This is very beneficial approach when the task at hand is pretty boring or it's very stressful, not only psychologically but physically. The advantage of this is that your employees feel very needed. You will probably have a lower turnover rate. People are going to show up on time. They're going to show up every day because they're excited to come to work. And the tasks are completed and you're ready for a new one all the time because you know you have that support system. And then we have the participant approach. So your leader is collaborating all the time with their employees. You're meeting as groups. You're making these decisions together, whether what type of work it is, the goals you're going to reach for, and possible solutions for things that might arise. You're sharing information constantly. This is very beneficial when you have experienced employees or when the tasks are very complex and you need a lot of different perspectives. It creates a sense of ownership where everyone wants to be a part of it. You feel valued. You're going to get committed people trying to get to the same common goal. The disadvantages of this approach, obviously, sometimes you get too many people involved and it's hard to come to a consensus. Things sometimes get out of whack, so to say, and you're not getting complete, and it's so time consuming. Then you have the achievement oriented style approach of leadership who sets those high goals and they're expecting their employees to meet them, but they're motivating them at the same time. And they're very confident that their employees can achieve this. This is beneficial also when you have complex things. You're supporting them as well and giving them that encouragement, but you know that that person is very goal oriented and they're going to do it. This is also beneficial when you have some employees that just lack that self-motivation. Usually like, this is your goal, you've got to get to it. Advantages, this is really top level management. It requires structure. Everyone has their own role and they're expected to produce those results and you have a deadline to meet. Disadvantages is that this requires experience. goal-driven people. And when you do not have those goal-driven people that are those self-starters or are going to get out there to accomplish that goal, this is probably not the approach you need to take. This is also known as the goal-setting theory. So you can see that his goal path theory can be kind of complicated and complex, as some theorists say. An effective leader changes leadership styles to meet the needs of their employees' abilities and environment. They assist in finding ways to achieve their goals. They're removing those roadblocks and promoting opportunity not only for their organization or your school, but their employees' personal growth and satisfaction. And this graphic shows this very well. You have your leadership behaviors on the left, the directive, supportive, participative, and achievement oriented. And those are which one you choose to use is going to depend on your employee and the environment. But no matter which one you use, you're using that motivation for employee satisfaction. So, path goal theory scenarios. I had so many of them, I really didn't know which one to use. But a quote, education leaders are problem solvers and facilitators. Therefore, the job-oriented development of teachers is a critical factor of school leadership and its functioning and getting through the process. A directive approach would be to use with your inexperienced teachers that are on campus, or to avoid conflict when you have a lot of very strong-minded individuals that work for you that all want to go separate different directions. But at the same time, your supportive directive are also for your new teachers or timid personalities that they have the capability, but they really need that push to get through it. This is a great one for your grade clusters and your committees, because everyone needs to meet your RTI processes, ARD committees. You've all got to work together for a common goal, and everyone really needs to be heard. Then you have your achievement oriented. These are really, I believe, for your veteran teachers, your self-starters, those strong personalities that are just going to jump in feet first and tackle the accomplishment and get it done. All of these steps and these theories and approaches to being an effective leader, I think all on a day-to-day basis are combined together, and you use each one for each employee, but the depth and the percent of each one should change depending on what the individual needs. Just like as educators, we're constantly accommodating and adjusting depending on the needs of our students, an effective leader is going to do the same thing. So it may not look like the same for each employee. These are the references that I used.